retirement thing.
Oh, the
Brad.
Yeah.
Well, we're at 7:48 at KNEB. It's News Extra Time, brought to you by Intralinks. And here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. And we're going to have an interesting conversation over the next 6 or 7 minutes with Mike Minzey, who's been CAPWN's housing director for over 40 years. He's been with CAPWN for 45 or 46 years.
Yeah, 46 years.
46 years. And Jan Fitz is here as well, the executive director of CAPWN. So as housing director, first of all, let's just talk about what you do so people understand that before we get into the fact that you've been there ever since the organization was established.
Well, about 1970, I started with the housing programs, and ever since then we've been involved in programs for residential energy conservation and rehabilitation of homes. We provide home buyers education. We do quite a bit involving just energy conservation with residential homes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much been the housing program.
All right. And that's
and
kept you...
affordable housing.
Affordable housing, construction of housing complexes in 6 different communities in our service area.
Yeah. So it's kept you pretty busy.
Yeah. Maintain 88 rentals right now altogether.
Do you really?
Mhm.
Wow. So do you have to maintain those or get people
We
to
actually
take care of
maintain
them?
40. We do it ourselves on 48 of them. We have a management company in Lincoln that takes care of 40, but we do 48 ourselves.
Yeah. Do you have people underneath you that help do that?
We have a property manager for that who handles all of our all those properties, and we have other individuals that handle portions of our other programs.
Wow. Okay. So you've been doing this for years. You've been there since the very start. At the very start of CAPWN, it was a lot smaller than it is now, right?
CAPWN was incorporated at the end of '65, and I came in '66 when they only had 2 employees, our executive director and a secretary, and it operated in 2 very small rooms.
Yeah. That's all it was.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
And Mike came out as a VISTA volunteer.
Yeah. Jan says you came in as a VISTA volunteer,
Yeah.
and then you decided to. Then they had a position open for you, so you went for it, right?
Pretty much so. I had never been west of Chicago until I came out here with Vista, and was out here for a year, went to Colorado a year, came back, went to Hiram Scott for about 3 years, and wound up at CAPWN again, and pretty much in the same position I have now.
All right. So you know a lot of the history of this
Yes, I
place,
do.
and then it went from there, and there was Head Start locations and all that kind of stuff, and so it just there was what 5 different locations for
5 locations.
CAPWN?
We've been in 5 different places. 4 of them in Gering, 1 in Scottsbluff.
All right, and you've seen the name change. It went from
Nebraska Panhandle Community Action Agency to Panhandle Community Services, and now Community Action Partnership of Western Nebraska.
All right, so it's changed names 3 times. You've seen all that go on, and from what I understand, they're encouraging you to maybe write a book about your time with CAPWN because of all the different things that have occurred. Are you thinking about that?
Still thinking about it, and this has come along for a number of years, so during that time I've accumulated quite a bit of material that I'm going to be able to incorporate into something, and hopefully I'll find some time in retirement to put this together.
Yeah, okay. All right. You brought this one and only CAPWN historical trivia contest, and there's like several pages here. And I was looking at this as right before we came on, and there's like several things here that you have to put true or false as to whether these things actually occurred, and apparently many of them did. So
They're all true,
I'm
but
just
true.
going to go through a couple of these things because they're kind of rather interesting. You said a CAPWN executive director had the reputation of dancing on the desk of the executive director in white socks and living in an apartment with no furniture.
Yeah, that's true. That was Leandro P. Soto. Was here for a short time and came from Puerto Rico, was our executive director, and he was caught numerous times dancing to music on his desk in the office. Yeah.
In the office?
Yeah, he didn't last too long.
Okay. It says here an executive director returning from a board meeting picked up 2 armed suspected murderers from Florida hitchhiking near Kimball. You apparently were with this executive director.
I went to, that was our board meeting, and I was in the car with a few other people, and our executive director happened in Kimball. The meeting did. On our return back from Kimball on the Kimball to Scottsbluff Highway, there were 2 individuals hitchhiking, and our executive director, Al Arringdale, being the nice guy he was, picked him up and gave him a ride to Scottsbluff. And we were approached by the police a couple of days later concerning him. Found out they were wanted for murder in Illinois. On the way back, I noticed a long knife tucked into the boot of one of them, and we wound up holding their car for a couple of years. It was quite an event. And then the interesting thing about that is that when they were picked up on it, shortly after that, the whole family stayed here, and the mother wound up playing Mrs. Santa Claus year after year.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. Okay, so you also mentioned female employees were allowed to wear slacks only on very cold days.
That goes way back to the 60s. And at that particular time, of course, most of the ladies always wore dresses. And the executive director put out a memo, and I still have the original memo on that says female employees, exactly as that, we're allowed to wear slacks only on very cold days. And I guess they used their judgment on that, but that was intended to be limited to just 4 or 5 days a year, and that was it.
Okay. All right, one of these other things here before we get Jan to speak just briefly. You say an employee became so disgruntled with his parents, he legally changed his last name to that of his wife's maiden name.
This was an individual who I suppose could be compared to a public relations person. He handled our press releases and all, and he did. He became so upset with his parents. They lived on the West Coast. He was out here. I don't even remember his original name, but his wife's name was Johnson, and he became Cliff Johnson after going to court and changing his name just because he became so mad with his parents.
That's pretty funny. All right. Quickly, Jan, all the housing programs and all the things that Mike's been doing over all these years and years and years. You guys aren't going to lose that. He's retiring, but the programs are not, right?
That's correct, yeah. Mike's given us quite a legacy here, not only in the stories and the history, but also in the programs. We have reorganized several of our services. We're calling that new department Community Bridges, and Jennifer Rogers is the director, so we will continue all the things Mike spoke of.
All right, very good. And real quick, the birthday party, retirement party. The
Yes.
retirement party is coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow, that's Thursday afternoon from 3 to 6. We welcome anybody who would like to come and give Mike a great send-off, just to drop by. We're going to be happy to give him a card shower and whatever expressions of love we have for Mike after all of these years of service.
All right, very good. All right. I think I'll show up. Probably ask him some more things about all this wonderful stuff on this sheet here about things that have happened at CAPWN. So that's fun. Yeah, you even had a former employee killed in an early New York City gang fight.
That's true.
Became employed by a professional football team. Boy.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, you got a lot of things in there. All right, very good. Well, happy retirement there, Mike.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it, and thanks for having us on.
You bet.
Thank you.